The group of boys hid in the cellar. Suddenly, there was a knocking sound from outside. The boy opened the door. They saw a monster actually lifting the lid off someone's skull. The monster walked into the cellar. Instantly, the inside was flooded with blood. This kind of monster had a pumpkin head and skeletal body. Every year, this kind of monster would appear in the town. It became the target of people's hunting, not because it was wicked and ferocious. Instead, hunting it is a tradition that has been practiced in the town over the years. After the young people in the town kill it, they can eat the snack stuffed in its belly. The warriors who successfully hunt down Jack the Ripper will receive a mansion, tens of thousands of dollars, and a sports car. And the origin of all this comes from the crazy act of an old man. Jim has just successfully hunted down Jack and won the annual championship. Next, he will travel the outside world in his sports car. This honor makes all the young people extremely eager. 1 year later, Jim's family also becomes very wealthy because of Jim. Jim's younger brother, Tommy, also grew up and became an adult. Approaching Halloween, the school held a rally for the hunting night. Tommy, who came from a well-off family, didn't need to participate, but he still came. He also wanted to become a champion like his brother and make his parents proud, to explore the outside world. At this moment, the school bully, Carl, started provoking Tommy. Carl insulted Tommy, calling him a loser. In a feat of impulse, Tommy started fighting with him. Officer Ronnie intervened in time and stopped them. He made Tommy leave this place. Unexpectedly, the relentless Carl followed them, seeking revenge. So, Tommy took refuge in a movie theater. There, he met the beautiful Lisa. They fell in love at first sight. Since Lisa was from out of town, she wasn't invited to the midnight dance party after the hunting night. So, Tommy made a promise to her that once he won the championship of the hunting night, he would definitely invite Lisa to the dance party. During dinner in the evening, Tommy's mother took out a letter sent by his brother Jim. The letter stated that he was doing well. However, at this moment, Tommy told his parents that he wanted to participate in the hunting night, but his parents strongly discouraged him. Tommy even faced his father's scolding. However, in his rebellious face, Tommy became even more determined in his decision. Meanwhile, in the cornfield near the town, a mysterious old man carved a pumpkin head. He placed it on the body attached to the cross. When Halloween arrives, this body will transform into Jack the Ripper. The next day, Tommy was caught by the bully Carl on the street. Carl beat him up severely. Angry, Tommy returned home and received the latest letter from his brother. In the letter, his brother expressed that he didn't want Tommy to participate in the competition. He also mentioned that he is currently traveling outside, and he will be back in the town to reunite with the family soon. In this town, if a person does not win the championship of the hunting night, they cannot leave the town. Tommy was very confused. Why don't the parents and his brother want him to see the outside world? So, Tommy stole a car and drove towards the outside of town. However, Officer Ronnie stopped him. As Tommy tried to escape, Ronnie hit him with a stick, knocking him unconscious. As Halloween night approached, the parents locked their children in rooms without food or drink for 3 days, urging them to hunt down Jack while feeling hungry, believing it would ignite their fighting spirit. Meanwhile, the mysterious old man also opened the body's abdomen, stuffing it with snacks. This means that the hunting night is about to begin. Tonight, the hungry young people will be released from their homes, carrying weapons and wearing masks to hunt down Jack the Ripper. After being unconscious for several days, Tommy finally woke up. His father told him that he had found a good job for Tommy, but Tommy had already made up his mind to participate in the hunting night. Even if his parents pleaded with him, he still left home, ignoring their pleas. Tommy's companion arrived in a truck, which caused dissatisfaction among the other participants, but clever Tommy only used a small cake, causing the hungry participants to fight amongst. Tommy and his 3 friends came to the cornfield. They expect to meet Jack the Ripper here. Sure enough, the truck seemed to hit something and stalled. They thought it must have been Jack the Ripper. Sure enough, they found some fallen snacks in the grass nearby. The companions ate happily. Tommy carefully looked around for signs of Jack. Suddenly, he saw Jack not far away, so several people ran towards Jack with weapons in hand, but they underestimated Jack's strength. Before he could run far, a boy was attacked by Jack and knocked down. Then he was thrown into the air. His body was broken into 2 pieces. The other boy saw that something was wrong and ran away quickly. The boy carrying the knife and fork followed Tommy towards Jack, but unfortunately, he was also suddenly attacked. Half of his head was chopped off. At this moment, Jack appeared in front of Tommy. Tommy, who was fighting the enemy alone, decided to retreat first. He ran to the cross and saw Lisa. Both have the same ambition. They're not interested in money. They just wanted to leave this town and see the outside world. The boy who had run away earlier ran back home. He didn't want to participate in this horrifying hunting night anymore. However, his parents refused to let him inside. They demanded that he must not come back unless he wins first place. The boy stood at the door, sobbing. The neighbor's child warned the boy. Jack was standing right behind him, and so the unfortunate boy started frantically running for his life. He arrived at the entrance of a cellar. The cellar was filled with frightened children who didn't want to participate in this event because he didn't have money to pay the entrance fee. Boy is shut out again. However, someone in the crowd was kind-hearted and felt they should help the boy. But when they opened the cellar door, they discovered that Jack was gripping the boy's head. In the next moment, Jack swiftly removed the boy's head. Then Jack entered the cellar. A few seconds later, the cellar spewed out a large amount of red liquid. Tommy brought Lisa to Ronnie's house, and they stole a handgun. Then, taking advantage of Ronnie's distraction, they escaped in his car. At that moment, they heard the radio inside the car. The operator said there was a riot at Jerry's store, and someone had spotted Jack's trail. So, the two of them came to the store. They discovered that the hungry young people had started targeting the store. Although the store owner threatened them with a hunting rifle, he was ultimately overwhelmed and killed by those young people who seemed like starving wolves. 3 young men were chatting on the street. Suddenly, Jack appeared in front of them. Despite their numbers, they were all killed by Jack in one swift move. They were turned into human sculptures. Tommy and Lisa learned it again through the radio. Jack was spotted near Oak Street, so they went to Oak Street. They saw Jack just coming out of a house. Tommy rushed forward, wanting to kill him. However, he suddenly noticed Jack had his own brother's belt tied around his waist. Jack seemed to have no intention of killing Tommy either. Tommy finally understood those letters were not sent by his brother. It was all his mother's lies. After running back home, Tommy relentlessly questioned his mother. Shockingly, his mother chose to commit suicide in front of him. It turned out that the young person who won the championship every year would become the next year's Sawtooth Jack. The warrior who killed the dragon would also transform into a dragon. There wasn't much time left at this moment. If they couldn't stop Jack from reaching the church before midnight, then this town will be attacked by mysterious forces. Tommy and Lisa arrived at the church, but there they saw his father. His father didn't want his younger son to become the next Jack, so he chose to personally kill his elder son to become the next Jack himself. At this moment, Jack had already arrived at the church. Tommy, who understood everything, walked out of the church and embraced his brother. But at that moment, Carl, who stood nearby, shot Jack. Tommy, holding his injured brother, was filled with sorrow. He picked up the gun to protect his brother, but Jack, with his withered hand, pressed Tommy's gun against his own head. Tommy's brother knew that Tommy had already understood everything. He wanted Tommy to win, so they could have a chance to leave this town. Regrettably, Tommy had no choice but to pull the trigger and end his brother's life. The annual hunting competition came to a successful conclusion. At that moment, Tommy was the winner. The crowd was cheering excitedly for him, but only Tommy knew what fate awaited him next. The midnight dance party began. Tommy invited Lisa to the dance party. The people around him cast strange glances at him, but dared not say much. After the dance party, Tommy also obtained a house, a large sum of money, and a sports car. His father approached Ronnie, knowing that the police, represented by Ronnie, would chase after his son. He then threatened Ronnie with a gun, but in the end, he failed. At this moment, Tommy was driving away with Lisa, but Ronnie caught up with them. Ronnie forced Tommy to go into the cornfield, and both of them knew what would happen next. Just as Tommy approached the crucifix, he took out his gun and, seizing the opportunity when Ronnie wasn't paying attention, he killed Ronnie. But before Tommy could leave, the mysterious old man suddenly appeared. He used a shovel to strike Tommy and pushed him into a pre-dug pit, burying him afterward. Tommy would also become the next Jack the Ripper in the following year. His father arrived at the highway, knowing that his son was in danger, so he urged Lisa to quickly drive away. Grieving Lisa eventually escaped from this town. Shortly after, the father arrived at the cornfield. He released his son, who was bound to the cross. At that moment, the mysterious old man reappeared and asked him what he was doing. However, the father didn't respond and directly killed the mysterious old man with a knife. Meanwhile, Tommy, as Jack, also woke up. The film ends at this point. This story is short and impactful, with a lot of information. However, the suspense is not sufficient and there are too many bloody scenes. The premise of not eating or drinking for 3 days feels somewhat forced. This film gives more of a sense of prioritizing concepts over plot. The special effects and monster design are relatively well done. However, it would be better if the plot details were further developed. For example, why Jack had to be created and what kind of disaster would occur. Alright, that concludes this movie commentary. See you next time.